Hey mates, it's T here. I am finally getting to the mining tutorial I promised you for new players on EVE Online. Today I'm going to be using what I think is one of the best mining vessels they had come out with. Actually, it's only been out, I think, for a year, year and a half, probably not more than 2 years. The Venture. And this is the mining vessel that I recommend for new players. Um, it has some pretty good attributes to it. Um, but before I get started, I want you to notice that I am operating out of Anomalies, which is a new player starting system. And if I click on the Agents tab here in the Station Services, you'll see that there are five career agents. Those are starter agents. Now, if you're new to EVE, if you're a new player, I highly recommend that one of the first things you do is you come to Anomalies and you run through all of the missions for these agents. Okay, they're gonna give you free skill books. They're gonna give you free ships, and at the end of it, you're gonna get a big standing bump with the Caldari state. Okay, so there's that. So I'm going to be using the Venture today. Open up my fit window. And you'll see I have two mining lasers in the high slots. Actually, there's only two hard points. And I used, you can see here, the particle bore compact mining laser. If I open up the info tab on that, really quickly, I want to show you something a little bit off the beaten path, but it's pretty valuable information, which is why you are watching this. It's because you want some good information. So I open up the info tab on this mining laser. If you click the variations tab, you get this window pop up. Okay, so these are all of the different variants of that mining laser. Okay, these are all Tech 1. This is their Tech 2 variant and the storyline and faction. But the neat part is if you click this compare button here at the bottom, you get this new screen that pops up. It lists the mining lasers on the right hand side and the attributes on the left hand side. So what this does for you for this and any other module or ship in EVE that has variants, what you can do is you can click on this attribute. Let's say we want to know what the mining mount differences are. You click that, and boom, there it is right there. Okay, so you can click on this header here. You can arrange it so it's ascending or descending. Okay, so you can see here that the faction laser yield is 65 meters cubed. The Tech 2 is 60, and the one that I'm using is a Tech 1 variant, and it pulls 50 meters cubed. Okay. And then also you can check, if you want, you can check other attributes. Look at the optimal range, right? So my optimal range is 11. Look at this one right here, this EP Tech S Gaussian, right? It's got a mining range of 16 kilometers, so that's pretty good. Okay, and then I'm looking for duration. Oh, there it is, activation time, duration. Click that. Because when you're mining rocks, that's significant. You know, you got to look at what your cycle times are going to be, and it tells you right there. So they're all pretty much the same as far as that goes. Okay, about a minute. Now you can do different skills and stuff like that. And now that I mention it, if I click, go back to the info tab here, click requirements. This will tell you what skills you need to have, which mining level 1. So there you go. All right. So the compare feature on that, basically it shows you the attributes for the different variants of the same thing. Okay, so it'll help you later on when you're fitting ships. It'll help you compare and contrast the different modules so that you can see what's the best deal for you. Okay, when you fit your ships. So for today though, I just have the particle bores. I put a salvager up here. The reason for that is when there's NPC pirates that come around, when I take them out, I can salvage their wrecks as well. And I think, I'm not positive, but I think the salvage from, you get scrap metal from NPC rat salvage, and that is worth, I think, 2,000 tritanium for minerals. And so I'm running an afterburner. I recommend that you at least have Tech 1, the cheapest afterburner. Okay, and then ideally for shields, you would want to have a shield expander. I don't have one handy, so I'm just going with these two boosters. Now the issue with boosters is they chew up your cap really bad. See, you can see here I only have 16 seconds of cap if I run these full time. Okay, if I run everything, I only have 16 seconds. Okay, but for the purposes of this demonstration, that'll be sufficient. But ideally, you'd want to use shield extenders. Okay, and then down here at the bottom, the low slot, if I go to my inventory window, and I thought I could use it, and then when I was researching for the video, I found out that I didn't even have the skill for it. That low slot, you can either put a damage control module there, or you can run this mining laser upgrade. Okay, and that will increase your yield for your mining lasers. Okay, so I recommend for that low slot you either use a mining laser upgrade or use a damage control module. Now, another thing about the Venture is, well, first of all, let's go through the holds real quick. So if I go to the cargo hold and click that, you can see it's got a very small cargo hold. It's only 50 meters cubed. Okay, very, very small. But that's not, when you're mining, that's not where your ore goes. Your ore goes here in the special ore hold. So if I click that, and I have some amber there already, we'll get to that hopefully, you'll see that it actually has a ore hold that can hold 5,000 meter cubed of raw ore. Okay, so that's where your ore is going to go. Now you can't put anything but ore in this hold. You can't put minerals, you can't put blueprints, you can't put anything but ore in that hold. Okay, and then finally, and I wanted to make sure I mentioned this, the Venture has a drone bay that is big enough that you can fit 2 light combat drones, which I highly, highly recommend. If I right click, show info. Now these are Galente drones, so there's probably a Galente skill involved, maybe not. So I hit the requirements. Light drone operation level 1, drones level 3, and drones level 1. Okay, so that's all you need to be able to use a Hobgoblin 1, and that's a preferred drone for what we're doing here. Okay, now you see some people, they have Ventures and they have mining drones. I think that's a mistake. I don't think that you're going to get enough yield out of the mining drones, out of 2 of them no less, to really be worth it. Okay, but what you will need is you will need protection against the NPC rats that show up. So that's why we're going with light combat drones. Okay, the light combat drones are going to save your ship if you get NPC come in. All right. So there it is. We're just using Tech 1 lasers. We have a salvager for Rex. We have cheap afterburner, cheap boosters, and if I could run it, we'd run a mining laser upgrade on the low slot, and that is the Venture. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and undock. So I was actually filming this episode, and I came across an incident while I was filming, and it interrupted my mining video. So hopefully, and the guy was kind of upset with me. He was flagged suspect, and he was in a coveter, and he was just sitting in a coveter, flagged suspect. AFK mining, which I don't recommend doing. And so I came back to the station, I grabbed my PvP ship, and I took him out. And so he wasn't happy about it. So what I want to do is I wanted to show you this real quick. Start from the beginning. If you come down here towards the bottom, to the left of your HUD, you're going to see this little radar looking button here. If I click that, it gave me a headache last time too. There we go. You've got this radial dial. The one on the left is the probe scanner. The one on the right is the D-scan. Okay, and we're not going to use the D-scanner one for now, but I do want to open up the probe scanner window. None of the new players does this, I don't think, and I never see them in this. But if you click that, okay, you get the probe scanner menu come up. And so you have these are anomalies in the system. The ones that are not highlighted, that are grayed out, you have to scan those down. Here in Anomalies, those are training sites, most likely. Okay? But the ones in green, you can actually warp to. And if you look right here, the second one, where my buddy is, that I went back for and popped because he was suspect in a mining barge, large amber deposit. And that's where I want to be, because amber is somewhat fairly rare in as far as Caldari space goes, but from time to time you will find it in anomalies like this, and it's kind of cool because typically in Caldari space you'll have like pyroxers, you have veldspars, got a whole bunch of veldspars, and different things like that, but you never really see any of the like amber. Okay, so it's really cool because it gives you another different set of minerals that you can use when you reprocess your ore. So I'm just dragging this over here. Now I got an NPC already aggressing me, so if I click my drone tab, I can actually launch my 2 drones for protection. Oops, didn't get it. There we go. If you click this little box right here, is your drone settings, and you can set, now for this I'm going to set mine for aggressive, focus fire, and attack and follow. Okay, not passive. So my drones, if I was, he already aggressed me when I set him out, but if I was already here and he aggressed me, my drones would go after him. Okay, but as it is, so I'm going to target him. I'm going to hit F, which is my drone button for engaging. And so my drones, you can see the icon there, and my drones will go after him. Okay, so I took out the NPC. Now I took some shield damage that you can see. I'm going to minimize my probe scanner menu here. But you can see I took a little bit of damage. So if it's not big damage or anything, but if I want, I can turn on my booster and rep my damage. Just make sure you turn it off. Okay, and then I'm going to hit recall and bring my drones back in. So, and there's the wreck right there. Okay, so I'm just going to leave the wreck because we got a lot to cover right now. I will abandon it. If you're going to mine a lot and you don't care about the wrecks, please do everybody a favor. Right click on it and then abandon your nearby wrecks so that other people can take from them. If you don't do that and somebody grabs it, they would go suspect. But also, if nobody takes it because they are, you didn't abandon them. If nobody takes it, they will expire, and then whatever loot was in them will be gone. Okay, so just do that. It's just a courtesy thing to other people in the system. There are people who rat and they're looters and stuff like that. So it helps them out, So be cool. Just abandon your wrecks if you're not going to grab them. Okay, so what I'm going to do is click my loot mining tab. I have my overview set up a particular way. If you're interested in getting my overview settings, just send me an email or a PM or something. Yeah, we'll arrange it. It's set up pretty useful for what we're doing here. So I'm going to right click on that and see load defaults to mining. And there you see there is a asteroid, Amber, and we're going to run up to it, hit my afterburner, click it, and we'll run up there. Now remember these mining lasers that I chose, they're inexpensive, but they have a very short range. So you can see that Amber asteroid's like, well, now about 35 clicks away. So we gotta get up close, and actually, if you see my selected item box, I don't even have a targeting. Don't even have a targeting button yet. I'm just gonna reorganize my windows a little bit. I don't care about that. So there, my targeting thing popped up, my button. So I go ahead and target that. You can see these are all different on this setting for the overview. These are all different asteroid belts that we could warp to. So here we are at the rock. I'm going to activate my laser. Click it. Turn off my afterburner. I don't need it. Go back to my contacts so I see what's around me. And I like to stagger my cycles so that, because these asteroids are actually consumables, so once you mine all the ore out of them, you actually consume the asteroid. So I want to make sure I stagger my cycles so that if it depletes, at least I might get a half a cycle. Or get a cycle, get a cycle, but it'll be staggered. So it just helps my odds of completing a cycle before it runs out. That's why I do it. So one of the things I wanted to mention, and I had already mentioned I was trying to film earlier and I had a incident occur, so I got interrupted, which will be another video. I think I'm going to post it because it was kind of fun. But I already have some amber in my ore hold. So one of the things that you see quite often is, because now see, I only have 2,600 and change of amber ore, and it's already consumed about a third of my ore bay. And so one of the things you'll see quite often is what's known as jet can mining. Okay, jettison can mining, or otherwise known as jet can mining. And what that is that, let's say we're almost filled. Let's say we're almost filled up on our ore hold here. I want to make more room so I can keep mining. So I simply right click on that and I click jettison. And poof, my ore is gone. Minimize that. So in its place, you will see next to my ship is the can right there. That's my can that was jettisoned, and if I open it, that's got the ore. So I'm going to go ahead and loot it. It's my own can, I can do that. I forgot I can't loot it because it'll try to send it to the cargo hold. So that's jet can mining. Now, the thing is, I don't suggest that you do it because when you're jet can mining, basically anybody can take your can. They get flagged suspect, but they don't typically care about that. So, new miners or some other miners will jet can mine. They'll clear out their cargo holes so they can keep mining without having to dock up. And so you'll see they might have 2, 3, 4, 5 cans next to their ship, You open the can, it's full of ore. So they just spent all that time filling that can up, right? And then somebody's going to come by and swipe it. And then so basically that means that they just spent all that time mining for somebody else. Okay, so jet can mining is never a good idea. I don't recommend it. I'm going to show you a good solid alternative. So I'm not going to sit here and cycle and mine and mine and mine and mine. I don't really need to. I just wanted to show you the anomaly primarily. And I'm going to let this one finish up. I don't think it's going to take too much longer. Now, if you see here, okay, you see this yellow box. Okay, that's the guy who was suspect in a coveter that interrupted my first mining tutorial attempt because I was doing the tutorial, I was filming it, and he was sitting there he was sitting there flagged suspect, which means he stole something, and he's sitting in a mining barge. So I docked up, I grabbed my caracal, came back, and he was still there. So I popped his coveter. He was AFK mining, which is another mistake. So not only did I get his coveter, but I got his pod too. Okay, and so now this gentleman is here. He's got me targeted like he wants to shoot me, and he's in a Drake. But he's not going to shoot me because he can't. Well, I mean, he can, but he's going to get concorded, and he's going to lose his Drake if he shoots me. So just in case you're wondering, that's what that little box there is. That is the victim from the previous tutorial video attempt where I was interrupted. So rudely, I might add. And so he's back for revenge. Except that there's not a whole heck of a lot he can do unless he wants to get concorded, in which case he'll lose his Drake too. So I'm not that concerned about it. So now, we have, if I click my inventory, click the cargo hold, you see I have some amber in the ore hold. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I just want to stack them. By the way, I was asked today by a newer player if it's possible to split your stacks. The answer is yes. I believe well, for me, it's you hold down the shift and you drag and drop. So hold the shift and then drag and drop. There you go. That's how you split a stack. So I'm going to go ahead and dock up now. This guy in the Drake is getting closer. I don't know. And the thing is, too, if he shoots me without provocation, and he has no provocation, not only will Concord destroy his Drake for me, but I will also obtain a kill right on him, which would be fantastic because I know for a fact that he's a miner. So I'll just wait for him to be in a nice juicy mining barge. I'll activate his kill right, and then I'll take him out. Okay, so if that all unfolds like that, he would have lost 3 ships because of himself, right? So that would be funny. I'm not going to push the issue. I'm just going to dock up. Excuse me. And so I'm going to dock up. Now, so what I want to do is I'm going to show you, I'm going to try and keep it very short, but I'm going to quickly try to show you an alternative to JetCam mining. And it's worth noting too, like the ships that I'm using in this video are ships that you get for free if you run those starter missions. Okay. So I have station services here. Got my inventory. So I'm going to switch ships. I'm going to jump into my Badger. Right click and activate it. So this is a Caldari hauler, and I'm going to open the fit window real quick just so you can see really quickly. If you look at low slots, I have Tech 2 expanded cargo hold modules, and that will grow the space you have for cargo. Okay, which is useful. So I just wanted to point that out. These are the shield extenders I was telling you about. These are actually mediums. I think the Venture, I think you can fit this one, the medium as a tropic. I think you can fit a medium as a tropic on the Venture. If not, certainly a small will fit. Okay. So I'm gonna go up to my my inventory window here. So there, you can see here my cargo space is 15,600 and change meters cubed with the cargo expanders. So if I click my item hanger, and scroll down, this is like a miner's best friend right here, and I don't see enough of them being used by new players. Okay, they're called giant secure containers. Now I just explained to you why I don't recommend people jet cam mining. Okay, because people can indiscriminately run up, swipe your ore, and there's nothing. I mean, you can try to fight them, but that too might be a trap, right? Might be bait. These giant secure containers, you put them in space, you anchor them, you give them a password, and they're persistent. They will stay in space for like a month. If you don't do anything with it, it'll stay in space, I think, for a month or something like that. Okay, so they're persistent. They stay in space right where you put them. You have to have an anchoring skill. Let me right click, show you the skill. And there it is, anchoring level 1. That's all you need. Okay. So, maybe I should open that up again. I don't know if it's going to show up in the info tab or not, but we can look. Go to attributes, capacity. Yeah, it does. Okay, so here's the interesting thing now. Okay, with these giant secure containers, I found this out a while ago. I don't know why CCP. I imagine they're aware of it. They've never fixed it, so I don't know. But if you notice, okay, an assembled giant secure container, its capacity is 3,900 meters cubed. Okay, its volume is only 3,000 meters cubed. So in other words, it can hold a higher volume than it takes up in your cargo hold. So what that means practically is if you take assembled giant secure containers, you can put them in your cargo hold of your ship, and you can actually grow the size of your ship's cargo hold because of this silly little thing here, right? So you're going to be able to, if you put these in your hauler, you'll be able to actually carry more volume than what the container takes up in your cargo hold, by 900 no less. So that's not a small detail. So I'm absolutely going to do that. Here, this one's already assembled, so I'm going to drag and drop it right into my Badger. And then I'm going to right click on this one. I'm going to assemble that as well. Drag and drop it in my cargo. Now I should be able to fit, I think, 4. I should be able to fit 4 of these in my cargo. Now I will launch, normally I would launch these into space, and then I would fill my cargo back up with 4 more. That way, when I'm mining, I know when I've got 4 containers in space that are full, I know that that's what I got my Badger, so I know that I'm ready to haul. So yeah, you see I've got 4 of them here now. Actually, I think I might even squeeze 5 in there. That would be craziness. Excuse me. Where'd it go? Scroll up, scroll up, scroll up. Up, up, up. There it is. Assemble. let's see, am I going to be able to fit 5? Could it be that simple? And I did. Wow. Okay, so if I go back to my cargo hold, there they are, 5 giant secure containers in my cargo hold. And if you look here, I even have a little bit left over. I have 674 meters cubed left over in my cargo, even with these. But if I open these up, you can see, double click on it, or actually I'll just left click. Oh, yeah, that worked. Okay. So I've got 3,900 volume there for that container. So I'm going to pull on my calculator really quick because I'm not terribly good with math. So 3,900, I've got 5 of them times 5. So I actually have, okay, by doing it this way, by putting these giant secure containers assembled in my cargo hold, I now have 19,500 meters cubed available in hauling cargo space. In addition to the extra 600, we'll call it 674, 675. So I'll add 675 of that little bit that's left over. So I've got just a tick over 20,000 meters cubed space available in my hauler's cargo bay, which is fantastic. That's huge. And your little venture, if you recall, the ore hold on that little venture was 5,000. So you're looking at 4, right? Basically, you're looking at 4 complete holds worth of ore in your venture that you'll be able to fit in this hauler, set it up the way that it's set up. Okay, 4. So that's like 4 trips back and forth that you don't have to make. So that's great. So I'm going to undock. I wonder if that guy is still lurking out there waiting for me. He wants to kill me in his Drake. But notice he didn't do it. He targeted me. He targeted me. But he knows he can't shoot. Well, I mean, he can shoot me. He can try to gank me. Suicide gank me. But I don't think he wants to do that. There he is. 30, yeah. How about that? That's fantastic. So I'm going to throw him for a loop. I am going to, because he's watching me, I'm going to warp off to a safe room. And he'd be like, where'd he go? You see this guy right here in the Drake? Yeah, that's the guy I'm talking about. Silly rabbit. Tricks are for kids. I activate my hardeners just in case. So because we're in high sec, and because we don't have limited engagement, and because I'm not suspect, he has no authority basically to shoot me. If he does shoot me, Concord will show up and take him out pretty quickly. So I'm just going to pick a random belt because there's a process that I wanted to show you. We're going to go to the last one actually. Going to the safe room here, that was just diversionary. Just kind of messing with the guy. So we are flying. Fly, fly, fly. I don't like, I hope they change the design of the Badgers. I think they look like a doggone muffler, frankly. I don't know who designs these ship models, but that's awful. Sorry about that, I just bumped my mic. So you can see already, okay, there are cans here. Okay, there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one, and here's one. And sometimes they'll post them like that, and they're just advertisements. So this field is a little crowded, so I'm gonna go to a different field, I think. Yeah, we'll go to this group here. I'm just looking for a little bit less crowded field. Put my giant secures just for demonstration. I'm not going to put them all up. I'm just going to I'm going to float one of them just to kind of show you the mechanics of it. Now, while we're flying around, you know, the Venture's a great ship, but it's a frigate. Eventually, a new player, a new miner is going to want to upgrade to a next ship. Now, if you understand nothing else from me, and of course I've got these two NPCs here, so we'll go over to the next belt. If you hear me on nothing else, and listen, this is something that, you know, people debate about it. They're going to argue about it. I'm just telling you my own personal experience, okay? A lot of people want to upgrade and work towards being able to fly the Retriever, which is a mining barge, okay? And then the Mackinac is a Tech 2 variant of that. And then, or I'm sorry, it isn't a, it might be Tech 2, but the Hulk follows that. The Hulk is definitely Tech 2, okay? I think that's a mistake. And the reason I think it's a mistake is because, and the reason people do it is because the Retriever, the Mackinac, and the Hulk have extra mining slots, and they actually are able to mine a much higher yield. Okay, that's why people use them, because they're rock crushing machines. All right. The problem with them is that they're incredibly squishy, and they don't have very much tank. They're very thin-skinned. Okay, so what happens is you go and you buy a Retriever or a Mackinac or a Hulk, and you're out there mining, you're crushing rocks, and then boom, you get this small gang of suicide gankers show up. They typically like to fly around in catalysts or thrashers, and they run up on you and they will blap your ship. They will blow up your ship. I'm not sure how many it takes. I think a Retriever, I think even a single catalyst will take out a Retriever. So Concord will show up, but they won't be able to help you in time before you lose your ship. Okay, and the security number right here, the lower the security, the longer time it takes Concord to show up. Okay, you're fairly safe in Okinawas. Also, being a new player system, if you get somebody that ganks you unprovoked, that's a bannable offense by CCP. You can report that person. Okay, if they suicide gank you or otherwise gank you, although they refuse to define what a new player is or what the time frame is, the rule of thumb is basically if you're less than a month old in EVE, you're considered a new player. Okay, so if you're mining and you get a guy come up and he blaps your poor little mining ship without provocation, here in Okinawas, that's not okay. Just here because it's a starter system. Nowhere else, or the other starter systems, but not, you know, just the starter systems. You can report them. So you'll notice here. Okay, we're just about ready. I was kind of slow boating it, so I'm getting in position. So you see. These asteroid belts kind of have a horseshoe or curve shape to them. Okay, so you have this end over here. Okay, and there's a little curve to it, right? And then you got the end here. I'm right here in the middle. So these giant secure containers, they're fantastic because, like I said, you can fill them up and not have to dock up every time you want to unload. You just drop off your ore in the container. And then once all your containers are filled up, then you come back with your hauler and you pick them up. So, but there's a proximity requirement on these. I believe, I'm not positive, we'll find out here in a second. I believe it's 5 clicks. You have to be 5,000 meters away from any collidables or other cans, okay? So I'll just click the, let's see, yeah, okay, so there. So that's probably the closest one-ish. Let's see, this one is, okay, so we'll use that as the marker. And we're going to go just a tick over 5,000 meters from it. And you can go, like, you see some, maybe we'll show you, but like the other cans you'll see were right there in front of the field. I don't like doing that. I like putting my cans either above the field or below the field. And the reason for that is, okay, and we're there, so I can stop. So you can see I'm positioning myself. If I zoom out, I'm positioning myself above. There's my ship right here. Positioning myself above the field. Okay. So the reason for that is that while you're mining, you can align to a target. Like pick this, an orbital or something you can warp to. You can click this button right here. It says align to. You're not going to warp to it. You're just going to align to it. See, my ship is changing directions. And now I'm aligned to it. And what that does when you do that, it's a protection thing. It permits you to warp out much quicker. I mean, a lot quicker. So if you're aligned to a target, the time it takes you to align to the target and then warp to target is cut probably in like half. Okay, so if you do get gankers come in after you and you see them ahead of time because you're definitely not AFK mining, and you're aligned, you can warp out almost immediately. Okay, that's why you do that, and that's why I'm above the field. If you're down, if you put your container down, like this container but closer, okay, if you're down actually inside the rocks, it's a bad idea because the rocks can actually stop you from warping because your ship, when it turns to a line, can bounce off the rocks and you'll just keep bouncing off the rocks. You'll never align to anything and you will not warp. Okay, they're collidables, so your ship's just going to sit there in the belt and bounce off of the rocks. It's never going to align to anything, therefore it'll never warp to anything. Okay, so here we are. I position myself above the field. So go to my inventory. I'm going to right click my giant secure, and you see down here you have a couple options: launch for self or launch for corporation. Doesn't really much matter. I'll do it for the corporation. So I'm going to click this, and there it goes. Now if we were too close to the rocks or other collidables, it wouldn't put the can into space. You get a message. Okay, so we are far enough away to be able to launch it. Now once you launch it, you need to do what they call anchoring. So you go right click it and see down here anchor. You're going to click that and you get a notice here. It takes 1 minute, okay, to anchor it. And what that does is anchoring prevents people from scooping it into their own cargo and running off with it. Okay, when you anchor it, it's anchored. It's not going anywhere. Only you can unanchor it. So we got about a minute for it to anchor up. And the other thing I'm going to do, and you want to certainly do this, I've noticed here in Anomalies, I've noticed that some people are not giving their cans passwords. So I'm able to run right up to the can and open them up and take a look. And if they leave stuff in them, I mean, I wouldn't take it, but there's other people that might. Okay, so that's a bad idea. So you want to set a password. And I don't know, I just say password is high. And confirm it high. And click OK. Oh, okay, 3 letters. I'll try it again. So go new password, set password. We'll say hey, tab, hey, and click OK. And now that can is password protected. And whoever I share my password with, we are the only people that can open that can. That's why these are so important, right? If you jet can mine, anybody can run up and take your can, but not these. These are protected. These are password protected. So only people with access to the password get to do that. Okay? get to use or have access to that can. So now that I have one can of space, all I'm going to do now, I'm going to maintain um, my X location, and I'm just going to go laterally towards this end of the field here. Now I have to move, I believe it's 5,000 kilometers from this can or any nearest collidable. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. I'm just moving away. Let's see. Yeah, it's trucking along pretty good. So when I get about 5,000 clicks, by the way, you see it says giant secure container. You can actually assign a name to your containers. You can, like I did that when we were a mining corporation. I actually had like 12 of these things set up in the asteroid belt, and they stayed there. They're like permanent, right? Oh, I'm there. So I come to a stop. Actually, I can turn around. I got a little bit far. I turn around, go back just a little bit. But you can actually give these names. You can call it or 1, or 2. One thing that I did, I gave it a naming paradigm. I called it, I forget, I think it was like can, for example, can 1, 2, 3. Oh, okay, you come to stop. Can 1, can 2, can 3. And then I did can A. Oh, I went too far. Well, let me try. Let's see if I can. I want to see what happens when I try to launch this since it's too close. Let's see. I'm going to launch that. Launch for corporation. Yeah, so you get a notice. So it's got to be 5,000 kilometers. Okay. So I just went a little bit too far because I was running my mouth. But I named the cans 1, 2, 3, and then A, B, C. And the reason for that, if you're in a mining corporation and you've got more than one person, then each person can have their own set. You know, so if there's 2 of us, right, I say, all right, I'll take cans 1, 2, 3, and you take cans A, B, C, right, or whatever. So you can give them names, and that way you can kind of designate which giant secure containers are for who, or which corp member. Okay, so we should be far enough away. Oh yeah, we're far enough away. So I'm gonna go ahead and launch the second one. There's a reason I'm launching 2 of them. Launch for corporation. Okay, and there's my second can. You can see it right there. So I'm going to click the can. I'm going to right click it. And first thing you got to do, you got to anchor that bad boy. Oh no, see? Okay, I'm too close to the rocks. That's the problem. These rocks down here. So I'm going to scoop it back. I have to go vertical a little bit. I'm too close to the rocks. You got to be 5,000 kilometers from the nearest asteroid or can or other collidable. Okay. So I just got to go vertical a little bit. I'm not sure which one it is. Probably. Yeah, I should be far enough now. Alright, so I'm going to come to stop. Yeah, if you see, it's a little, just a tick higher than my last can, so it's fine. I'll go ahead and jet it, or launch it, not jettison it. There's a difference. You want to launch the containers, you don't want to jettison them. So launch for corporation. Okay, and there it is. Now right click it and anchor. There it is. Okay, so it's going to take a minute to anchor, and then it'll be anchored. And then, of course, remember you got to set your password. Right click it. Now, I don't know about you, but I mean, you could just use the same password on all your cans or whatever. If you're in fleet mining ops, you might want to run different passwords. Oh, I didn't want to set name. I want to set the password. My bad. So I'm just going to put in the same password that I use. Okay, and there. Now it's password protected. Only the people with the password have access to these two cans. Now here's the thing. The reason why I space them out like that, okay, they're above the field like I mentioned before, because I don't want to get tangled up in the rocks if I need to get out. Okay, so that's why I go above or below the field. And see, they're spaced out. Now if you look right here, there's rocks in between them. So when I'm in my venture, I'm actually able, well, I'm going to cozy up next. Well, I'm already here, cozy up to this one. But you'll be able to, with a venture between this container and that container, you'll be able to continually mine because all these rocks are still in range of you. Okay, they're well within your mining laser range. So when you fill that can up, you'll be able to click that can and approach it. Click approach. And you'll be able to move over to that can without ever turning off or losing your mining cycle. So you're going to fill this can up. As soon as that's full, you're just going to move over to this one, fill that one up. Now, if I had 5 cans out, right, I'd have another can here, have another can here, another can here, maybe one can here at the end, right? And so you just start at one end of the field, you fill that can, you jump to this one, fill that can, move to that one, fill that can, right, and so on and so forth. And then once all your cans are full, you come back with your hauler and you scoop your ore. And I can't tell you how much time that will save you running back and forth. It's a big, big, big time saver, which means that you are a more efficient miner. Okay? So we're coming up on the other can. Now, if I was in a venture, right, I probably wouldn't even lose the cycle or even have to turn off my mining laser. I would pick an asteroid that was in between the two cans, like equidistant, right? And I would just be able to continuously mine and never have to worry about losing my cycle. Just keep an eye on your your ore hold. Make sure that it doesn't fill up, and just monitor that, and you'll be in good shape. So before I go, I'll rename my canister. See how much you can set names on them. Don't forget to check out my other Eve tutorials. And there, I just changed the name of my giant secure container. Don't forget to check out my other Eve tutorials. I have a tutorial on station trading in GDA 4TAC4, which will help you. You know, you sit here mining rocks, you blasting rocks. Well, you know, you could be even more proficient, and while you're blasting rocks, you could be trading items on the GDA market, right? And so the money that you're making from mining, you can take that money and you can make even more money with it trading while you're mining. So it's like money making money, right? So that's all good and well. So that's pretty much it. I apologize. You know, I gotta work on keeping these videos shorter. I apologize for the length, but I think it's a good comprehensive video for new players and new miners, and I hope you learned a lot. It was a lot of fun making these. I'm going to be doing more tutorials in the future. There's going to be a tutorial coming up on planetary colonies or planetary interaction. Used to be a big money maker. Then they changed the game mechanics on it, but it's still worth doing. So I'm going to do a new player tutorial for planetary interaction. Again, don't forget to check out my tutorial on station trading in GDA 4TAC4. And if you would, please, I would appreciate it. Please refer my videos to at least 3 of your Eve friends. And viewership is my reward for my time and effort putting these together. I'm not asking for ISK or anything else, but I would appreciate if you could refer me. Okay. If you're find me in game and you would like a copy of my overview settings, just let me know. Also, for new players only, I have blueprint copies for the Kestrel frigate and the Corax destroyer. If you mention that to me in game and you would like a copy of that blueprint copy for the Kestrel or the Corax, just let me know and it will be yours. And then you can build your own ships. Okay, so thank you again for watching. I appreciate your time, and I hope you got a lot out of the video. I have a lot of fun making them. And oh, and don't forget to check out I'm going to post the other mining tutorial interrupted video because I think it was kind of funny. So I think it'll be entertaining, and it's much shorter than this one. Okay, so thanks a lot, and fly safe. If you have any questions, find me in game Ragnar D. X 1X. Okay, Ragnar D the 9th. And fly safe. I will catch you later. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.